everybody. I want to say seeing y'all's name in the email that y'all would be here is a lot more scarier than seeing y'all's smiles right now. So I just want to get that out the way. Good morning, everybody. My name is Cruz Suarez. I'm the owner and founder of Obsolete Energy Solutions. Started in 2008 as a small business, as everybody here I believe has started off. Started off in 2008 for a company called Hispanic Systems out of Dallas. Back in the day, they had 25 trucks going out daily. Each truck would do about 3 jobs a day out throughout Dallas. Hispanic Systems was a pretty good outfit that didn't honor people's overtime or whatnot, so they got shut down to a class action, which was got acquired by ARS Reuter. In 2014, I started my journey on my own. After 2012, earned $1.2 million from my uncle in radiant barrier and installation products that we were doing. I was a person that was traveling nationally for his operation, training people in different states and cities. Houston, Austin, San Antonio, Baton Rouge, and Tampa, Florida. Tampa, Florida being my last stop on that train, as it was a toxic ride. 2014, started my company as a DBA, Obsolete Energy Solutions, and survived 9 years doing business wrong without any lawsuits. Let me see how to do this. Since 2014, we focused primarily on residential sector of our market or whatnot, and we've done a few commercial projects, and we're trying to get more and more into the commercial space or whatnot. So here's one of our projects we did in the Emily apartment complex, which is in Las Colinas. So on this apartment complex, I started the first half of the apartment complex with a buddy of mine out of Austin named Chris Renner. He's part of a company called Native, and so Native's a pretty big competitor of ours or whatnot. So this was in 2018. We started on half of the apartment complex as a partner with them. And then the next quarter after we started, they called me back personally to come back and finish the other side of their building. So they liked the way we operated, and they called us back to do our job on our own. So OES started, my entrepreneurial journey started at 14 years old. I was in Oak Cliff, born and raised, selling candy for a company called Teens with Dreams. This is where I developed my door-to-door sales pitch type of thing, being able to communicate with people and go and present myself in an aspect and be able to relay what it is that I was trying to do at the time, which was sell candy and raise money for a nonprofit. By 16 years old, upgraded from candy to selling bootleg DVDs, as funny as it sounds. But the opportunity gave me a chance to see how you could crush somebody in the market. So I was able to shut down a Blockbuster in Oak Cliff off Hampton and Jefferson. They couldn't compete with our prices, 8 DVDs for $20. And so moving forward, and from that 16 years old Cruz Suarez selling candy to 18-year-old Cruz getting to Hispanic Systems with my uncle was a complete different aspect for me, as I was used to kind of like quick money. Becoming an entrepreneur and getting into the industry was a lot of mistakes for me. Didn't know anything, and so for 9 years kind of just operated off of luck, and kind of this year being our 10th year in business, kind of understood that I needed to take a different route if I wanted to exceed and excel. So finally started hiring some people to help me. Julio Escobar is my master electrician, so we are licensed as a company. We have a master electrician, master TDL license, and electrical contractor's license. So we're able to pull permits for different products pertaining to HVAC and electrical services. Aileen Pesante is our certified CPA, who's in charge of keeping us, in a legal stance and helping well, our intentions for next year would be to be expanding into other states. So she's helping us with our LLCs and, you know, getting all our paperwork and everything in line with the comptroller for the states. Five Moreno is one of our newest sales guys. Five's actually done pretty well for himself in the last couple of weeks, actually selling. So right now we're focused on selling services. So for a long time we were doing third-party installs for a lot of companies, and what I started seeing and noticing, I'm making all these people rich and I'm still here at the bottom. And so kind of strayed away from third-party installs just because we're trying to ramp up our own sales campaign. And so as of now, we have everything in line for our sales campaign. So we're just training our guys and launching our own sales campaign for 2025 Q1. My sister Naomi is also doing sales. She focuses on roof sales, so they do a lot of roofing. So one of our major services, detaching resets for roofing companies. A lot of roofing companies will contact me if they have a bunch of clients that have panels on the roof and it becomes an obstruction and they can't access their work because, you know, the panels are in the way. So we come in, detach the system, and put it back. Now, a lot of people are doing that these days. There's just like roofing, people are popping up left and right. They're trying to establish detaching resets as a new trade. The only problem with that is these people are not licensed or certified in photovoltaics, and they don't understand the process of how photovoltaics works. So they're able to get on the roof and destroy everything, taking it down, but then they're not able to put it back up in a professional way and recommission the system for the clients. So they lose efficiency and quality. Joshua Garibay, field supervisor for us, has been a longtime friend of mine. His late sister was married to my uncle and was one of the first women I've actually ever worked with in an attic. And so we have a lot of women that work with us and they love to work hard. His sister was one of the first women I was actually able to work with in a sense of labor-intensive field. Like she wasn't anybody that was like an office setting type of person. And so that kind of gave me the stance of seeing women in a different light. Christina Leota, she's been with me from the very beginning of Obsolete Energy Solutions. She started with us in energy efficiency, doing attic work. There was a time where I got into an attic being a very prideful and an attic out in New Orleans. It was 140 degrees. And I didn't want her to get in the attic. I didn't want her to sweat or do anything. So I told her, I got it. I get into the attic, and 10 minutes in, I started dying. My body started cramping up on me, and she didn't hear from me for a good 30, 40 minutes. And she pops her head in, is able to pull a grown man out the attic and finish the job on her own. And so, yeah, Christina Leota, she runs our Arizona team right now. So we have a team in Arizona that does photovoltaics energy efficiency for us, and she is in charge of that sector. Farhan Merchant is one of our sales guys we're going to be focusing commercial projects on. So actually, I understand you're with Trammel Crow. So I was at the property this past week for the Half Earth Eggs Day or whatnot, which was, I was invited by Farhan, who has pretty good connections in Trammel Crow. So I was excited to see that you're here today. So yeah, let's see. Our slogan, we sweat so you don't have to. So coming out of the attics in 2008, I would talk to a lot of homeowners, and every time I would come out, they would see me just drenched in sweat, and they'll try to talk to me, and I'm walking around kind of like mummified. So coming out of the attic at 140 degrees, it could be 90 degrees outside. It feels so much cooler than coming out. And so most times, you know, people will see me coming out of the attic, and you know, they'll feel this like, oh man, are you all right? I'm sitting here dying, trying to catch myself or whatnot. And I just thought to myself, well, I do this for these people. I go into these attics, you know, trying to help them so they lower their costs of their electric and, you know, all things pertaining. And so I just thought it would be a cool way to create a slogan and get that message across so people understand what it is that we're doing. So our mission at Obsolete Energy Solutions is to make energy efficiency more acceptable, more affordable, and sustainable for people involved with eco-friendly solutions. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit nervous, everybody. Our product services and target markets, like I said, for the last 9 years, we focused on residential, and we've done projects as far as South Carolina, Kansas, Tri-State. We've been to Iowa, we've done Florida, we've done work in Colorado, we've done work in Oklahoma, We've done work in Illinois and Pennsylvania. All residential. We have 3 commercial projects under our belt. Trying to get more projects in the commercial sector. Our services include all things pertaining to energy efficiency, which would be radiant barriers, spray foam, insulation removal, HVAC services, solar attic fans, smart home services, and engineering and permitting packages via our partners for engineering. So one of my engineers is Sam Little. His name's Sam Little. He's an engineer since, well, I would say before 2001, but he started his solar company in 2001. He's a lot older guy. He has a private airport named after him in Weatherford, and I use him to back me up because he's on his way out of business. He has great advice. He's been in the industry for a very long time, understands photovoltaics to the T, and he recognizes my ambition and tends to help me out whenever I call him with a project I need help with engineering. So our strengths, I would say, are biggest thing on here that's not on here is accountability. So I'm big on accountability. Any of the guys that work for me, I hold them to the cross every single time. I try to make sure that they understand how it is that we operate, how it is that we do things. Communication is very important to me. Respect is very important to me. It's always a two-way street. Trust is very important. You can't do business with somebody if you don't trust them, and vice versa. If they can't trust you, you're never going to get anywhere with it. Efficiency is big on my part. So I guess what would separate us from a lot of our larger competitors is a lot of these guys take a long time to do these installs, and so they're high priced, they take a long time, and the quality sometimes is not always there. So a lot of our competition nationwide right now, a lot of these larger companies are failing left and right in photovoltaics. So ADT, Sonova, Freedom or Freedom Forever, one of the two. There's 2 different freedoms. But a lot of these national companies are failing left and right. And I think the reason for that is a lot of these companies are sales-driven companies. We're not a sales-driven company, we're a consumer-based company. We put our clients and their needs before ours and try to keep that as our main focus. Our weakness is limited market research, resource constraints, and brand recognition. I feel like the more people that hear about us and hear about our great prizes, the more people will be able to access and be able to help. So I like to think of myself as a Robin Hood for our industry. There's been many a times where I've sat in front of a lot of old people or blind people, or like, I don't know, it's so crazy. The competition's out there selling to people with one leg and one arm and no ears and no eyes type thing, and just selling them at high rates on different, different packages for solar and all different things pertaining. Opportunities. So California right now is mandating solar in the sense that every new erect in the state is required to have photovoltaics on the property. And so just like they do with cannabis and everything else, they're usually the forefront for everything that tends to go nationally in that sense. And so I do have insight from a buddy of mine that works with some people with TXU, stating that the state of Texas will, here soon, I don't know how soon, in the next few years, mandate solar on all new erects in the state. Cutting edge certificates, increasing demand, partnerships, network growth, cutting government incentives and technological advancements. Under government incentives, I know that the REAP benefits have increased by 40% for commercial projects and extend for the next 3 years. Our threats, intense competition. So just like the roofers, now everybody's a solar installer. Everybody does it. Everybody claims to be a professional. Everybody's been in the industry for 10 years if you ask them, but nobody can show you any documents or anything pertaining to something to show a track record. Regulatory changes, technological changes, and supply chain disruptions. So the supply chain right now is kind of iffy on tariffs. The 2024 has been a very political year, and so the politics have affected everything on a grand scale. So a lot of the products being made are usually shipped in from other countries or whatnot. So tariffs put a big hold on the access to products we have coming in to the United States. So as I mentioned earlier, for the last 9 years, I've been operating on mistakes and kind of like learning, you know, my niche for the industry. And so for a very long time, there was no no way for me to keep track of my record of how I was doing as a business. 2018, I would say, would be my first year actually doing pretty good and generating my first 10,000 in a week. And so for me in 2018, that was probably a big milestone for me at that point. And kind of seeing like, all right, new services pertaining to photovoltaics. So doing third-party installs never allowed us to grow, as a lot of the competition, you know, as much as I hate it, they tend to, what would be the word for it? I don't want to say something so vulgar. Harm smaller businesses, I guess I'll say, in a sense that, you know, a lot of the larger companies will hire us, put us through all these things. We have to jump through all these holes to try to get paid and certain things. And you know, if you're a small business and they can sink you, they're going to try to. And so, yeah, so for a very long time, I had to realize, all right, what it is that we want to do. Do we want to focus on third-party installs, or do we want to take our services to an in-house situation? So for a very long time, we stopped doing third-party installs and we focused on detach and resets. And the reason for that is it's an easier way for us to be able to obtain funds. Most times we do detach and resets. It's very seldom that the customer is paying out of their pocket for a new roof and for the solar to come off. And so I found detach and resets as a way to keep our business moving forward and to keep funds coming in pretty frequently. So 2022, I was able to obtain a contract for 16 apartment complexes. 16 apartment complexes, the cheapest of which was paying me $70,000, and the rest were upwards of $100,000. So for the first time in my life, I acquired a $1.8 million contract. Being naive and thinking I needed all this backup, I reached out to a friend of mine named John Lutalele, a former Dallas Cowboy, and asked him to partner with me on this project. And in doing so, you know, I gave him access to a large network of people that, you know, were in the state of Texas selling photovoltaics on a large scale. John Lutalele has a roofing company and was able to see something that I wasn't, and kind of a scam or whatnot, but having the funds, he was able to pick me out of my contract. And we had a non-compete disclosure agreement, a bunch of different verbiage in the contract. Not having the backup at the time that I needed and the people that were going to support me in the sense of being in my corner for certain situations, I lost the contract within the first project of that contract. Devastated and already kind of thinking, all right, this is my end. This is where, you know, all right, I'm not for this. Somehow, some way, at the end of that year, I was still able to make my first 6 figures as a company. So I've never done that before. And so after being robbed from my contract, still made $100 grand that year, which felt pretty good. So started seeing something different. I was like, all right, well, things are turning. People are trying to keep me here at a certain level. What do I have to do to change it up? So 2023, I was able to make 6 figures 3 times last year. And I think the thing that we did differently was strengthen our procurement. And it wasn't what it was now, thanks to DAP. They've increased our processing. But at the time I knew I had to change something, and verbiage was very important in the way I'm writing my contracts. And so being somebody from Dallas and not having the education and not having the resources to educate myself, that was a very strong learning process. And so last year we did great. I knew that this year was going to be a slow year due to the politics. I kind of anticipated that last year. So our forecast for 2025, I was assuming we'd probably make 600,000. We already have 3-4 guys going to start helping us with sales, and then also we're not just going to focus on services anymore. We're going to start incorporating our own sales via our own small banking partners. And for Cruz, or for me and the company, I thought to myself, I don't want to do business with any large banks. Large banks usually have a million hands in them, and usually when a lot of people have their hand in one pocket, it's not really a lot left over for somebody. So We've been partnering up with smaller banks to try to offer finances for bigger projects. Market analysis. Dallas is one of the leading states for solar energy in the United States. As of 2024, Dallas has 42 high-rise buildings taller than 350 feet with a combined height of over 22,000 feet. The Dallas PV market value is estimated to be between 1.5 and 3 billion, accounting for approximately 10% of Texas solar capacity. Market drivers: raising demand for renewable energy, favorable government incentives, and decreasing solar costs, long-term savings. So we have 5 partners that we have accounts with in the state of Texas for obtaining our products. And usually these people, I tell them, all right, well, I got these other guys that have products. They all kind of compete to give me a lower cost on product. And so 5 years ago, the prices for solar panels were pretty high. And so now the prices are getting lower than less than $200 per solar panel, whereas most people are trying to sell solar panels for $300, $400, or $500 a solar panel. New development, energy intensive industries, sustainable focused owners. I'll be honest, that confuses me. Challenges: high upfront costs. So like I was saying, a lot of my competition's out in the market. They're selling people solar packages at high rates. So I'll give you an example. My cousin called me and she says, Cruz, they just offered me some solar panels, 72 solar panels for $96,000. I told her, I said, please don't sign that contract. We can get you the same system for about $45,000 and be still profitable, and obviously annihilate our competition. Our strategies: educate on solar benefits and incentives. I'm very big on educating our clients. I don't like talking to somebody and them feeling like they don't understand what I'm talking about. So I try to educate them first, make sure that they understand what it is that we're talking about, what we're getting across. And then education works both ways. I like to educate myself on the client, what it is that they need, what it is that they're looking for, what is their issues, and how can we be of a solution. Most times, a lot of people come to me with different issues in different areas, whether it's radiant barrier, solar, spray foam, HVAC, and 9 times out of 10, I'll recognize that the people that associate themselves with me tend to push people away. You know, like they'll hear something that they're not familiar with, and like, oh, well, that's not a part of my capability or something. I'm the type of person, we embrace those people. And well, boy said something that was pretty cool. Our challenges are opportunities, and I like that. It's not my slogan, but yeah, I think that aligns with what we do. Is try to find solutions and not give excuses to our customers. Partners with developers, tailor solutions for high rises, BIPV. So BIPV is Building Integrated Photovoltaics. In the United States, there's not one company that installs building integrated photovoltaics on any buildings. It's an open market, and building integrated photovoltaics are solar panels or solar photovoltaic glass that goes on the facade of a building. So you would have, for instance, the largest building in the world is the Burj Khalifa, which has an outer facade of nothing but solar glass, and that building was installed by Onyx, which is one of the partners that I was blessed to become part of their network. And Onyx is based in Spain or whatnot. So the first project in the United States is going to have BIPV is going to be in New York, and since no installers nationwide were able to get themselves up to a position to be able to handle those type of projects, Onyx has took it upon themselves to enter the market and try to access these problems. Growth opportunities: partner with cities for new incentives, expand offerings to include energy storage. So one of the things we're starting to see grow is people are starting to go microgrid, and so microgrids aren't just solar panels. They consist of having a battery backup. So most people think I'm gonna buy solar panels and I'll never have to pay an electric bill again, which is not the case. You know, most people are out there selling dreams, selling lies to people, and so they'll tell people if you buy solar panels, you'll never have to pay an electric bill again. But that's not the case. So most of us are not at home right now, and the sun's out. We're all in this dark room, and so nobody's utilizing the power of the sun right now. by the time we all get home, if y'all have kids, pick up your kids, get home. It's all usually after 4 o'clock when the sun's already past its peak and already on its way descending. And so I'd say about right now it gets dark at 7 o'clock. If it gets dark at 7 and most people are getting home around that time, the benefit for photovoltaics and for solar is kind of like obsolete at that point. There's no reason for it unless you have a backup battery to be able to use your own power after a certain period of time. And so that's kind of like what builds the microgrids is batteries, EV chargers, and now the EV chargers have bidirectional charging, so you can plug up your battery to a home, plug in your car to the battery, charge the battery with your car, or charge your car with the battery. The future of solar. It's U.S. political support for photovoltaics and renewable energy. These are a bunch of different acts that are occurring right now. My biggest thing that I like is perovskite solar technology. It's a material with a crystal structure. It kind of reminds me of graphene. So we were working with a company called FreeVolt. They have a patent for a graphene that goes over the glass as a protection. So right now, with the detachment resets, a lot of the issue that's growing right now is the insurance not only now has to pay for the replacement of the roof, but now has to incorporate damaged solar panels due to hail breaking the solar panels. And so that's a growing issue for the insurance companies as they've never experienced those type of claims before. And now we've been experiencing a lot of repeat clients where they get hit with a storm twice in a year, and now the insurance is paying twice on the replacement. These are our partners. Our largest partner for roofing is Lanier Roofing. They have a presence in 35 states. Tesla, we have a partnership with them. I will say their customer service is very poor. EB and Electric is our master electrician. Next Gen Tech Services is our CPA. EcoVantage is Sam. American Dream is Farhan. And then the rest are our suppliers. Here's some testimonials. I definitely recommend Cruz. I mean, I don't know, if you go to our Facebook page, we have one bad review, and that was one guy that didn't get paid what he wanted to. So I pride myself a lot on the reviews. I make sure that every experience our client has with us is over, how would I say, over the edge type thing. I try to go above and beyond for all of my clients. And sometimes that means I have to lose a lot. So here's our contact information. That's pretty much it. We do have a website. It won't be the website won't be live until tomorrow. But we're not. So we just uploaded everything. So that's going to take 24 hours for it to be fully live. We do have a 1-800 number as well that is on the document that you guys signed, and that is live already. Any questions? Obsolete Energy Solutions of America, yes, sir.
That's really long. I mean, you can do a typo, a lot of times you want to keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah. No, and that is true. I just, man, when I created it, I just didn't want to do OES or something short. I wanted them to understand the full name of the company and of America because, man, for the last 10 years, we've been all over the United States doing different installs. So I feel like we are of America.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's just that I do a lot of web pages myself, and I try to find it real simple. So that would be, and I know that .com, it would be real hard to find. It's probably already taken your initials, but there's a .info or a lot of different
No, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, you can do that, and it would keep it simpler. But that would be one recommendation. It's good. I mean, it sounds like you really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about backup generators, right? That you've done a couple.
Yeah, no, we've done a lot of so right now the popular brand for generators is Generac, so they've been doing pretty good. But our favorite is Kohler. So a lot of people don't go with Kohler. Kohler, they make some real good generators. We actually have a class coming up with Cummins. So Cummins is coming out with their own generator as well. And so the diesel motor is a very strong motor for Dodge. So they're gonna come out with their own generator as well. So we got a class for them soon. Here in a couple weeks to be able to train up on that so we can start offering Cummins in generators to our clients. So,
yeah, it's
Yeah, so there's a battery called, there's a battery called, Franklin, and so Franklin, the capabilities they have, you're able to put your generator to the battery, power the battery with the generator, and vice versa, power the generator with the battery, and then you're able to incorporate the EV and the PV into the Franklin battery. So it's probably one of the best batteries on the market for whatnot, and it's compatible with the generators. So if you're going out of power and you don't have nobody to help you, we'll come help you. We'll give you a great, at a great price too.
So, and then you did a good presentation, I really liked it, so good job.
Sir.
Cruz, nice to meet you.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
Ray Cooper, as you said, I'm with the Trammel Crow company. I manage the execution of our industrial developments in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. A lot of great information. In the presentation, you obviously know a lot about the work that you do. A couple of comments. That was fun. All right. So a couple of comments. One, in your core values, I would encourage you to add persistence. Some of the things that you mentioned and how you got to where you are now, I would add persistence to that. I would encourage you when you're doing your presentation, I wouldn't necessarily mention other companies or people's names in being critical. I think you can say like there's challenges and things. I would encourage you, maybe in a conversation if somebody follows up and asks like, what was the challenge? You might do that, but if you're presenting yourself to, as you're growing your business and you're talking to people to either buy your products or partner with other companies, I'd be a little bit careful about that. That would be my suggestion. I thought that your description of the removal and replacement, it was very clean. I thought it was very good. Some of the other services that you offer, you might give examples of that, like you described that particular service. That was very good. I would tell you, just from very, very recent experience on some of our industrial projects looking at adding solar, specifically with Encore in the state of Texas, on commercial buildings, solar power that's generated on commercial buildings, you can't sell that back onto the grid. So you really have to right size the system for the user using it. So I think if you're talking to a potential customer, a commercial customer, making sure that they understand that, being aware of that is important in thinking about if they're going to consider doing a solar installation on a project. That's something very important for them to understand.
We'll educate our clients on the different incentives and different buyback
Yeah.
programs, whatnot. So Encore does have various buyback programs. I'm not familiar with what the capacity is for large scale projects, and I'm not
Like a
fully
large-
developed in that yet, but
Yeah.
as I am taking that route now,
Okay.
I will educate myself further.
Great. Awesome. Let's see, there are a couple other comments I wanted to share with you. I think it would be really helpful to have an illustration of, like, you had some of the list of services that you offer. I think having like a case study or an example to say, okay, here's a project from the inception of it, designing it, permitting it, installing it, closing it out in service, how that all works. It tells a story.
We're gonna run a video.
Okay, that's great.
But yeah, I am doing something like that, but it's from the actual, the initiative meet, somebody selling all the way to the completion of it. But we are working on a video, just costly.
Yeah.
But you're saying it would be helpful to also include in the business plan, case study.
I think so, yeah. Just as an example, here's how that whole process works on an example project. Would be meaningful. And then last thing I'll say is, in terms of growing your business as far as commercial projects, I think you may already be talking to folks, but I think some folks that would be really helpful to you to introduce yourself so they know about you are architects, electrical contractors. I'm talking large electrical contractors, like example, like a Hearst Electric, Intex, that do a lot of large scale installations. And then lead consultants. I don't know how much you know about lead consultants, but like on a large project that we might do, we'll hire a lead consultant that helps us work through the scorecard of all of the points that we're gonna go through. And some of the stuff that you do applies to that, like the energy model. Using solar, that affects the energy model, and that affects a large portion of the points under energy and atmosphere under the lead rating system, which is a huge portion of it. So just letting people know that you're there and that you can help contribute to that, I think will help you in growing your business on the commercial side.
So that's why I kind of went to the half birthday thing, try to involve myself with people that have the same passion for going green and everything. And so I had a great time there.
Good. Well, it's nice to meet you. Nice presentation.
Yes, sir. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Great to meet you, Cruz. Kind of building on what the two gentlemen said before me. I'm Mario Zavala. I'm with DART, by the way. Interesting you're presenting this. I used to be with CoServe, who's an energy cooperative in Denton County. So a couple things that stand out for me. I think from the get-go, I thought the video that you showed with the project that you worked on with the apartment complex was great. One of the things that was missing there, though, was you didn't tell us how many panels you installed.
Right.
You didn't tell us what the benefit was to the client, what the savings were. So I think as you're doing your marketing type stuff, include those little things. I don't think you need to be over the top with it, but I think it's something as simple as we installed 100 panels. This was a cost of whatever it was up front for them, but it's gonna result in X amount of savings over this amount of time. I know having done this, I was part of the solar team when I was at my former company, and a lot of times we would talk to developers or even residents. Those are the kinds of questions that came up. It's like, like you gave the example of your sister. Hey, I'm gonna pay $96,000 for this. Well, what's my return on investment on that?
Right.
I think as you're kind of doing your marketing materials, highlighting some of that stuff. I think simplifying too, like I said, you are very knowledgeable about what you're talking about, what you're doing, but I think a lot of stuff you kind of threw out there, like, listing all the companies that you're working with. For most of us, we don't know any of those people, so it doesn't really apply to anything for us. I think it's more, you just need to say, hey, I have partners that have been in roofing industry, construction, real estate, whatever it is, and their years of experience, because for most of us, I don't think anyone outside of, probably Tesla recognizes most of the names that you had up there.
Yeah.
So just kind of, again, it's more like know your audience, who you're talking to type thing. So I think when you're simplifying that, and then a lot of stuff too, like with the technology advancement, I think as you explain that, give examples of that, kind of like you did with the building in Malaysia, and how that technology is coming over here. I think different examples of what you're doing that you've worked on and that your partners have experience in, I think that kind of gives that sense of relief of, okay, this guy does know what he's talking about. He's not just throwing information at me that he's regurgitating, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you're giving real life examples of stuff that you've worked on, that you've seen before, that you can apply, whether it's from a residential project or a large scale commercial project. I think as you simplify that and you're able to explain that through your business plan, whether it's a presentation or even just a one-on-one consultation with a resident, it'll help you secure that. I think the other thing too is, you mentioned the reliability and being a small business. Not that I'm trying to get you out of Dallas or Dallas County, but I think it would probably benefit you to reach out to some of those smaller cooperatives, because they tend to be in rural areas, and a lot of those areas are growing. Reaching out to them and saying, hey, how can I partner with you to work with some of your residents or businesses that are looking for that? Because I know those companies, CoServe, Rayburn Electric, Grayson County, up in all these different areas here in DFW, they don't do installations, but a lot of times they don't have the staff that can go and check on stuff. I know, we would sometimes get calls from businesses, hey, I'm looking at installing solar, can you look and tell me if this is worth, we have the staff to do that, but I know a lot of the smaller cooperatives don't. And I think that would be a benefit to you, is to get in some of those rural communities and some of those areas to where you can say, hey, I'm here looking out for the little guys, because I'm a little guy too.
Right.
And I think that kind of helps you build up to that.
Okay. Yes, sir. I like that information. I like that feedback.
Hi, good morning. Melanie Nielsen with the Office of Procurement Services with the City of Dallas. Just on a procurement standpoint, I think you had a great presentation. what we're looking for when, or what the evaluators, some of the things that they look for when they're reviewing those proposals are your experience. So start with your professional experience from the age of 18. I think that's a great feature, and you have the experience for doing this, as well as your methodology and approach. So you really did explain in all of the technicals of the for the energy, everything that I feel like the evaluators would be looking for a project that is for the solar, that has to do with solar panels. And I actually do have an upcoming project with one of the building services. They do have an upcoming project that they're looking for they're in the beginning stages of it, but they are wanting to get some quotes from small businesses as well as other suppliers, because they are doing an upcoming solar project on one of their facilities. So if I can get your contact information after this, that'll be great. And it's good to just get your, even if you don't, this is just the beginning stages, they're just gonna get the quotes just to get a price gauge, but it's also just to get your name out there with these departments, with these city entities that may be using, need these services in the future, so.
Yeah, because if they don't get me on this one, then the name's
Yes.
already understood, and
Exactly,
we remember
exactly.
him. Yeah.
So, and it will be with, I know they're gonna be using a grant for the Department of Energy, so they will be required to use some type of small business, to get part of that participation as well, so. Give me your contact information
Yes,
after this.
ma'am.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, and God bless you.
Hello, my name is Sandra Garcia. I'm with DFW International Airport, and I work with the Business Diversity Development Department. So in our department, we oversee the MWBE portion of that. And what I mean is all, contractors that are minority and or women business owned, and they're certified with that. So that was one of my questions. I didn't see that you are certified, and you don't have to be certified locally, one. Because I see that you work in many different cities, so maybe also having that certification can also help you, because there's a lot of contractors like Trammel Crow that we work with, and those actual commercial development projects have an MWBE goal on those. So just having that certification can be your incentive to be able to say, hey, in addition to me having this or doing this project, I am also certified, not just here locally, but also nationally. So wherever you go, that gives you that one opportunity. Two, I do agree, one, your email and your website are pretty lengthy. So just to kind of, think about that in the future. Great presentation. In your video is just also adding that information. You can add it within your video is, hey, this is what we did, this is how many panels were replaced. And then also, are you insured? Do you have any bonding? Are you ready?
Not bonding yet, not bonded yet. I have been looking at options. I've just been shopping around. So,
Okay, so
we are
just-
licensed, we
yeah.
are insured, we are working on, we are submitting our documents for the SBA. Now, I don't know
Okay.
about the MBA or.
MBE, so you'll be MBE, Minority Business Enterprise, which
Yeah.
I know the chamber can also probably
Yes.
help you and navigate you with that, and they
Yes.
have much information on that. And then, one more thing, so if you ever are interested in doing business with any of the entities, I highly suggest you go into Bonfire, even at the airport, go on there, Bonfire. So Bonfire is, I know we can talk a little bit more about that too, but it is a portal where you can be able to see any solicitation. So register to become registered in Bonfire. And what I mean by that is you don't have to bid or propose on any of the projects, but I would highly suggest you to attend one of those meetings. So every solicitation at the airport, we have a request for proposal, we actually do a presentation, even from our end in our department and all of the other departments. So it talks about the scope of work, talks about what they're looking for, talks about what our department is looking for too. Just to attend one, that way so you can kind of understand, so when you are ready to propose or bid on any future projects, you're already kind of knowledgeable in that, so.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Right, I'm Kim Franklin. I'm the Assistant Director with Office of Procurement Services with the City of Dallas. So I do have right here instructions where you can register, so I'll give you all of that afterwards and tell you all about it. But, great presentation, unmatched knowledge on your product and the services. So I do feel, you have all of that down. I do agree with the panelists, on the email, on the video. I think adding those key features, because it's a great video, like what you did. One thing that I would add, in addition to what was already commented, was more and more now, like including in our jobs, we're asking like upfront, like with proposals, like what's your like a service completion schedule? And like, was this job completed on time? Yeah, so maybe including that as well. This was our service completion schedule. It was completed, 15 business days earlier, whatever the case may be, 3 weeks. I think that would be a great thing I'd add. And also because you said one of your key points and one of your selling points is the timeliness of your installs and of your service jobs. So I would definitely include, and we provide you with a service completion schedule. Okay. Besides that, you had to go through the experience of finding out the legalities with the contracts and things like that, but I would, especially with the smaller businesses, I know we speak at a lot of events. I know a couple months ago, we were just at the Oak Cliff Chamber. We go over all the different sections of the contracts, the indemnification. You said you're insured. We let you know, like, if something go wrong, this is what you want to look for, because, will your business be able to withstand this? Right. Because this is what this means. Just because that is our standard language that our attorneys have approved, like, don't be scared if you feel that you can't, like, negotiate that. Those indemnification, that language, it's serious and it can really, make or break smaller businesses. So I would definitely recommend, like I said, you went through it, but attend. If we're there, I know my director and Melody and I were there, and we really go in depth and going into the terms and conditions and really what our own contracts say. So, thanks. But good job.
Thank you.
Great job.
All right.
Yeah,
My twin.
yeah, we'll have great, that's good. Oliver Trammel with CBRE work, lead the CBRE Supply Diversity Program. First off, I think you did an excellent job. Your passion and your knowledge in the industry truly came through. You said you were nervous. Again, you could tell a little bit, but your passion and everything really comes through, and I truly appreciate that. So that's number one. I think your presentations are very good. I really do echo everything that was said here. One, on the web page, you can keep that, but you can also make an alias that goes with it that you can shorten. So definitely would encourage you to do that. The case studies and past experience, I would definitely, again, echo that. I think that's going to be very important for different clients that you may want to talk to. I know that you're looking outside of residential, but I also know that there are a lot of opportunities in residential. You talked about the removal and replace. I know that again, here in Dallas here, I know that's huge with all the hailstorms and everything that we have going around. So, and I know you're not discounting that, but definitely I'll continue to look into that area, working maybe even more directly with some of the insurance companies. I was in the military, USAA has been very, very good to me. That might be someone that you may want to talk to or work with, some of the folks at USAA or some of the other insurance companies.
I'll say that's a good idea, because I've never thought about partnering with an insurance agent. And partnering with an insurance agent, I'm gonna cut some of the people out of the loop. So I appreciate that insight.
Yeah, that may be a possibility. So, and then lastly, when you talk to a lot of folks, the return on investment, again, is going to be huge. They want to understand. And I saw that up there, and I really did like that in your presentation. Maybe kind of blow that out, whether again it's in your case studies or past examples, really outlining the return on investment that you brought to your customers. I think it's going to be really big, because I think that's going to help them to understand the value that you truly bring. So, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Again, very good presentation. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much all for having me, taking your time to hear me out in my presentation. It was an honor to stand here in front of you guys. hopefully here in a minute, we can connect, get each other's contact information and see what we can do from there. So, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, thank you so much.